Hello, welcome everybody. I'm here from the Ironside Group. We're here to talk about AscentAI, which is our offering around machine learning and artificial intelligence and how it can impact your business. And we are developing solutions on the AWS platform. We're an advanced tier partner. Just for introductions, my name is Brian Platt. I'm a director of our data science practice here at Ironside Group. Me will be presenting some of the additional slides is Paul Hardy, who's our EVP of Professional Services. The agenda today is to talk a little bit basics about artificial intelligence, machine learning, and how they can impact your business and how they can be used. Specifically, we're going to get into our AscentAI offering, which is a data science as a service offering that can help your business integrate AI ML solutions that we can build out for you and help you on your journey with AI ML. All right, so who is Ironside? Well, Ironside Group is a data analytics cloud consulting company. We help our clients use data to make better decisions about their business. We've been around for over 20 years, and we have hundreds of clients that we've helped out with various data needs. We do offer a full spectrum of data services, all the way from advisory and developing roadmaps to developing the infrastructure and data engineering solutions, as well as doing BI reporting and doing the AI ML solutions to gain insight into the data. And that's what we're really going to focus on today. We are an AWS advanced tier partner, and the solutions we build out, especially for AI ML, are about on the AWS cloud, and we'll talk a little bit more about why we've chosen that platform. We have three overall offerings. We're going to talk about AscentAI today, which is about machine learning. But as I mentioned, we do have offerings with data engineering and infrastructure, as well as BI reporting. And those are the Ascent Data and Ascent IQ offerings. And those have presentations also on this platform. So we encourage you to go and seek out those presentations as well to learn more about those offerings. So the world of data science is sort of buzzword heavy. So I like to define terms up front so that everybody's on the same page and we can eliminate some of the buzzword problems. So machine learning uses statistics and algorithms to train computer software to make predictions. That's sort of the fundamental activity of machine learning. Artificial intelligence really uses machine learning to have software perform tasks that are usually done by a human agent. And so the goal here with this technology really is to be able to take humans out of the loop, be able to automate things, to be able to predict things. And what we really focus on is using that technology and using that sort of modern capability to achieve business goals. There are other applications for these technologies, but we're really focused on business goals, that companies are interested in growing revenue, reducing costs, managing risks, associated business activities. And so we can see some of these specific activities that can be done, and hopes, you can recognize at least some or more of these would apply to your business. You certainly can act preemptively. Like I said, that this is business, sort of the technology allows you to make predictions, so you can anticipate customer behavior based on past behavior. You can look at anticipated demand and take action in order to meet that demand, identify fraud, use predictive maintenance. All of these are fairly straightforward prediction activities. In terms of efficiency, as I mentioned, this is getting a human out of the loop, so you can automate processes and do things a lot faster than if you had a human in the loop to do these. You can do optimization activities to make sure that whatever you're doing is being done in the best possible way, and that reduces any of your wasted time and material. If you have products and services as part of your business, personalization, again, this is sort of a special case of prediction of predicting what sorts of products and services a customer might want and making recommendations to them about that. We can provide automated customer services. We've all encountered chatbots and automated customer service activity. That's also an AI ML kind of solution. And then you can gain insights, just using your data and applying some of these machine learning capabilities and algorithms to that. You can get all kinds of insights about, how is your market really segmented up in practice, not just guesses, but actually quantitative assessments of how, what your market segmentation is and how do you approach those customers differently. You can look at automating language processing, and using natural language processing algorithms, you can get out what are your customers, what's in your comment section, what are your customers talking about, what are they saying about you, or even internal documents, what sort of topics are being discussed, where are the inefficiencies in your business, what kind of anomalies might be there, and trends in the various KPIs that you might have in your business. So these are all just examples of different ways that AI ML can be leveraged to address specific business needs. What we've seen when we engage with customers is that there is an AI ML journey. You may be at different points along this journey and different parts of your business in different parts of this journey, but generally a company might start out, they're brand new to AI ML. We've heard these terms, again, we've heard these buzzwords, but maybe we don't know what they are yet. And so that's an early stage where every company is at that stage at one point or another, that this is a new technology that they want to bring on. Kind of the next phase is, that there's a use case that's been identified. Maybe there's some part of the business that says, hey, we really want to be able to analyze our social media and see how people are talking about our company and do that natural language processing. Or we have a specific process we know can be automated, And we need to do that so that we can reduce costs and make it a lot faster. In that case, you've got a specific use case, but maybe you don't have any data scientists in-house, so you don't have that experience to build an ML solution and test it out. The next phase that we've seen is companies that got that use case, maybe they started to play with some AI ML solutions, but nothing's yet in production. So it's sort of an interesting proof of concept, but they haven't integrated that into their business processes. And then finally, obviously, the end state goal is to have those AI ML solutions running in production that are integrated and part of your business processes. So that's kind of the journey that all companies go through, and we can engage and help in any of those stages that you might find yourself. You're taking companies through these different phases and through that whole journey, so we know what the roadmap looks like. And we know that there are challenges that the customers has when they try to do this themselves. That hiring an experienced data scientist, especially when you don't have any already, can be a challenge. Identifying your use cases and identifying the relevant data can be a challenge, because you need someone that understands how data science solutions and machine learning solutions can be applied, and so what's feasible and what's possible. And then developing the suitable data infrastructure to be able to leverage these algorithms and be able to train them, be able to set up the inference endpoints to be able to make the predictions. So those are all just challenges that companies face, and that's where Ironside can help out, because we do have data scientists part of our delivery teams. And so we can build out that roadmap. We can help you identify use cases. And these are all parts of the AscentAI offering that we'll go into a little bit of detail later in the presentation. But just to highlight the challenges and how challenging this can be when companies try and do it on their own, a survey by O'Reilly showed that only 26% of companies actually had AI/ML in production. And this is as of this year. So you can see that this is not an easy thing to do, but it is a very valuable thing. A lot of companies are attempting to do that. You can see that a lot of them are evaluating these processes because they see the value in it, but it is a challenge to set it up, which is where a consulting group like Ironside can really help you out. One of the other things I mentioned earlier, we are an AWS partner. One of the challenges, this is modern technology. It needs to have a platform that's suitable to run AI/ML solutions. And really, the AWS cloud is a logical place to build out these solutions. And that's what we target when we engage with customers, is to build out on the AWS platform. The reasons for that are many, but some of the highlighted ones is there's essentially infinite data storage. We didn't go into details about AI/ML, but by and large, it benefits from having more and more data. And so having that infinite storage is really important. There's flexible compute resources that are available to do the processing. And so some AI/ML solutions may need high power GPUs in order to do the processing, especially for computer vision based solutions. But then for the actual inference, you might not need as much high power as you did for the training. And so you can tailor your compute resources based on your needs. So that's a flexibility that AWS allows. Being AWS, it has extensive integrations with all kinds of other platforms and other solutions. If you need to connect to databases, if you need to connect to third-party solutions like Salesforce, that's all possible. Additionally, there are native managed services that address specific AI/ML needs in the AWS ecosystem. So those are very valuable, because then you don't need to train an algorithm yourself. You can simply use the AWS managed services for that. Finally, it's AWS cloud. It has a globally high availability, which means that wherever you build a solution, if you need to deploy it and have it available across the country or across the globe, that's all supported, and you're not worrying about a server farm somewhere. This is a cloud-based solution, so that's the kind of natural place for an AI/ML solution to need, because it gives you the scale, it gives you the flexibility, it gives you the storage you need. So I'm going to hand it off to Paul now to talk about the specific offerings that Ironside Group gives to help companies develop these solutions and get these solutions into production.
Fantastic. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate that. So I want to talk about our specific approach to implementing the AI and ML solutions that Brian has mentioned. And we call what we provide data science as a service. As a service is a very popular term today, but we try to use that term and distinguish it, because what we provide is not software. There are multiple software solutions out there. AutoML tools are becoming increasingly popular, but we believe to have a successful implementation for AI, it's helpful to have more of an end-to-end solution. As you noted, Brian mentioned 4 different types of challenges that prevent people from being successful and making their way along that journey very rapidly. And what we've done with our data science as a service approach is attempt to address those challenges directly, take them head on in a way that can create value from AI and ML and do it very quickly and at low risk. So I'm going to talk about how we do that. We call our data science as a service AscentAI. So first of all, you see in the upper left, it's about people, process, and technology. So this is not software in and of itself. AscentAI is inclusive of all of these things, and we'll talk more about them as we go through this. The solutions are customized to your business. So today there are platforms that are in your business, CRM, ERP systems. Increasingly, many systems are adopting AI solutions internally. These solutions are not canned coming from an existing provider. They're solutions that are customized specifically for your business. Brian mentioned a whole set of challenges can be addressed, and those tend to be very unique for each business. Relatively few AI challenges are best served by what I would call a canned AI application. Next, you see leverage your unique data and from across the enterprise. Very important. Many of these existing AI tools in existing platforms are only able to leverage the technology that are present in that particular platform. The most powerful AI and ML use cases we've deployed to our clients draw on data from multiple systems in order to do their predictive work. They're pulling data from POS, from ERP, from CRM, from learning management systems, from lots of different applications where we can integrate that data and have it applied to your particular business challenges. Next, you see accelerated path to value. This is an exercise that can be conducted very quickly, and I'll talk about our platform, and then you'll understand better why it can be done quickly. You also see it's minimally invasive, right? So we'll talk about that platform, but what we try to do is get things off of your system into our platform so that it's less bothersome, less cumbersome to you, and less disruptive to any of your daily data activities. And then you see de-risk AI and ML investments through consecutive models and gates. So you see this complex picture of 5 modules. That's done very purposefully. You'll see in the first 3 stages that there are decision gates between each of those stages. So our objective is to take consecutive modules. Each of them have a set of criteria by which you can pass through to the next module. And if not, you stop investing there. And those modules are specifically built to be able to limit investment so that we call it, fail fast, fail cheap, if in fact there is a use case that is not performing well. And in AI, in machine learning, there's kind of a unique failure mode that has to do with whether your data actually contains the signal necessary to be predictive, right? It does not always do that. You can do everything right, but discover that the data simply isn't predictive. And what you want to do is find that out as quickly as possible with very limited investment. So the modules that you see here, use case discovery, we'll talk a little bit more detail, but it's identifying what the problems are that you can attack, many from that list that Brian identified, or ones that are unique to your business. A rapid viability assessment is a place to stop and determine whether there is signal in your data. If there is not, you don't need to develop a much larger algorithm and spend more time and effort in perfecting that. However, if you do have signal in your data, then you move forward to machine learning where that algorithm is built and perfected. And if that produces the kind of results that will provide business value, then you can move on to module 4, AI implementation. Implementations vary widely depending on the nature of the problem that you're trying to solve. So those no 2 implementations are ever alike, and they can be very large, from massive cloud native applications using things like SageMaker and AWS to literally spreadsheets that are just output based on some analysis that might have been done, saying in a marketing context of prospects or of customers, right? So implementation varies widely. And lastly, module 5, performance monitoring. If an application is deployed in AI and ML, it does have certain maintenance needs, retraining, things of that nature to make sure that the model is always performing at its best and continues to improve. And lastly, and most importantly, the IP remains yours. That was the process part. What about the people and technology part that I mentioned? What you see here is our approach with clients. So it's a very collaborative exercise. On the left, you see what we believe the client brings to this exercise, and that is, of course, your historical data on which machine learning is based, as well as your business subject matter experts and the value drivers that produce the right outcomes for your business, whether it's cost reduction or revenue increase or whatever your primary challenge is. And what Ironside brings is what we call our AscentAI Platform that you see on the right-hand side. There are 5 specific components to it. First, the people part, right in the center, you see skilled resources. As Brian mentioned, we have teams of data scientists, data engineers, solution architects, platform engineers, et cetera. Upper left, you see the cloud data platform itself. This is where we make things non-invasive. We take your data off of your world and put it into our world, into our cloud data platform, so that our data scientists can manipulate that data appropriately. Upper right-hand side, machine learning tools. I mentioned SageMaker. There are others that we use, but our data scientists are trained in those tools. You don't have to acquire that technology to determine if there is value in what you're doing. Lower right-hand corner, performance reporting. Obviously, you want to understand what the output is of any AI and ML applications that you're building. So we obviously have the skills to be able to create that type of dashboard to understand the outcomes. And then in the lower left, you see third-party data enrichment. It's a very interesting step that we help facilitate and again, speed up, is the assessment as to whether external data, in addition to all the internal historical data that we may use, is to whether that external data may increase the signal in your specific use case. And this data can range anywhere from economic and demographic information to weather information. As an example, we've used all of that type of data. So that's the platform. Again, we bring your subject matter experts that understand the business with our experts that understand machine learning, and we go through those early phases of the process: use case discovery and or a rapid viability assessment. So I want to talk for a minute about that use case discovery. Simply, our objective here is to prioritize the use cases you may have. Brian presented you a long list of things that can be accomplished. And so a question is, how do we identify more specifically what would work in our specific business, right? So we work with, as we mentioned earlier, with your subject matter experts to identify a set of candidate use cases where you understand business, we understand machine learning, we work together and identify those. And then we want to evaluate their business viability. So in the lower dimension of this matrix, you see business viability. Obviously, what is its pure economic value and ROI? What are its qualitative benefits? What is the sponsorship? What is the speed in which it can be created? All of those play a part in determining value for your organization. And then the vertical axis, you see data viability. What we want to understand is whether the data that you have in your organization is, does it have the accessibility, the quality, the quantity of information that we need, the target data, which is the problem that you're solving. Does it have that in sufficient respect to be able to implement a machine learning solution, right? So you can see the high-low ranges on both of these, and not surprisingly, these then can be plotted as you see here. And of course, in the upper right-hand corner, you would want to attack those that have both a high business value and high data viability. Data viability is a crucial point. We often hear, and in fact, you saw in Brian's list of factors that are preventing folks from performing well in machine learning today, is we hear people talk about, well, our data is just in bad shape. We're 2 years away from being able to do this because we've got to clean up our data warehouse first. What this exercise allows you to do is understand specifically what data applies to a particular use case. And to be clear, only the data that applies to that use case has to be either in good condition or able to be put into good condition to solve that use case. So you don't need to solve every data problem that you have in your organization. We know today with the proliferation of data, there are challenges. We work on them every day with our clients. But with respect to AI and ML, you only have to have your hands around the data that serves a particular use case. So don't let that data issue that you may feel you have more broadly stop you from getting value right away in AI and ML. That's what this exercise helps us solve. The second phase is the rapid viability assessment. And what this really does is it determines, again, more of that quality and quantity of your data and of the target variable. But also, this is where we look for signal. Right, so you can see specific phases here. We collect that data, we profile the data, we identify that target feature and do the target variable and do feature extraction. So the features are the things that we do to your data, which is in some type of raw form. We then manipulate that data in a way that creates additional data structures, derivative data structures from your data to create features that ultimately feed machine learning models. And then you see enrichment value. So we do want to determine whether or not that third-party data can enrich your model. And to further elaborate on that, what we have within the AscentAI platform is relationships with multiple data providers for which we are already contracted. So back to speed to value, we're able to test that data very, very quickly because we already have access to it. Otherwise, that can be a cumbersome process, but not on our platform. And lastly, that data signal assessment, doing statistical tests and actually lightweight modeling on the features that we all believe, based on your business expertise and subject matter expertise, are most likely to contribute to a machine learning outcome. We can do that relatively quickly and find out if there is in fact signal in your model. And again, if that's not the case, then you know to stop making the investment. So I'm not going to go through the other phases. We talked about these two opening phases most importantly because the question is, how do you get started, right? I hope we've established that there are ways to overcome the perceived problems that people have with machine learning. We believe that data science as a service is the way to do that because we can get you to results quickly at low risk. And there are two ways to really enter the process. First, on the module one, the use case discovery module, if you're unaware of what use cases you may have in your organization, again, Brian pointed out there are multiple applications, then let's do a use case discovery, right? We can actually develop that matrix that you saw for multiple use cases. An advantage to that is if a use case proceeds through this process and does not have appropriate signal in the data, your organization will not feel as though all is lost with respect to AI and ML. Rather, they can go back to that matrix and say, look, there are other applications that potential applications that we know are of value to us. So let's move to those. And we haven't spent too much money in determining that the first one might not have worked. So that's use case discovery. However, many clients come to us with a particular use case that they, through either their business expertise or even their internal data and analytics expertise, have determined is a use case that needs to be exploited, but they want to do that quickly and at low risk. So we can start this entire process with the rapid viability assessment on a known use case that you bring to us. So on behalf of Brian and myself, thank you for taking time today to spend with us. We hope you enjoyed this conversation about how to get value from your data using AI and ML. If you'd like to talk more about it, feel free to contact us at the email address you see on the screen, which is AscentAI@ironsidegroup.com. And we hope you have a terrific day.